Yes. Come.
To be spreading among foreign nationals here. In Germiston, east of Johannesburg, most shopkeepers from countries like Ethiopia, Somalia, and other parts of Africa have closed their businesses in anticipation of looting.
As you can see here, the police are protecting properties, businesses, shops that belong to African migrants. They said that they were attacked last night precisely because they are not South Africans.
I'm worried, I'm scared. I know how to protect myself because most of us here, we are citizens already.
At least 5 people were killed, including 2 South Africans, since the violence began last week. Locals who are behind the rioting have said foreign nationals are taking their jobs and opportunities. In the eastern coastal city of Durban, a march began by some 10,000 South Africans who are calling for an end to the attacks. The Chatsworth sports field south of Durban has been turned into a makeshift refugee camp. Here you will find families from Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, and many others from the rest of Africa. They told us that they escaped with the meager belongings they could salvage when the looters came.
If they take us back to our countries, maybe it's going to get better because we end up dying here.
I think South Africa is a bad country because they are killing us for no reason.
What is happening in our country is not acceptable.
President Jacob Zuma has been on national television condemning the senseless violence, and he is expected to address Parliament on the current situation. In 2008, at least 62 people died after the same chaos swept the country. Milton Nkosi, BBC News, Johannesburg.
And looting in some poor neighborhoods in and around Johannesburg. It's been like this since Sunday. Some of the businesses and shops vandalized belong to foreign nationals. This is not the first time Mohammed Afzal Hussein has been through this. He says his other store in another part of the city was looted last year.
If it's every year something like this, how can I do? I can make something for my families, for my children, for my parents is there. Because we come from so far for work, not for a crime or whatever, only for work.
Some South Africans believe criminal gangs are responsible for the violence. Mario Abrunosa says he got a phone call early in the morning that his business was being looted, but it was too dangerous for him to move. Now that it's relatively quiet, he's come back to assess the damage.
I still found people still looting as I arrived here with the police presence. And all I wanted to say is it's not about foreign in the shop. I'm a South African citizen. I employ South African people that work for me in the shop, and they target it's just a pure criminality attack that they've done here to me. And I'm running at a loss. I'm without words. I don't know what else to say.
Some say the country's high unemployment rate, now nearly at 30%, widespread poverty and inequality are to blame for the violence. In 2008, at least 60 people were killed and more than 50,000 forced from their homes when many foreign African nationals were targeted. 4 years ago, at least 7 people were killed. Some South Africans feel they are competing with outsiders for scarce jobs. Human rights groups say anti-immigrant comments made by some politicians are making things worse.
There's a xenophobic sentiment underlying this about foreigners having to leave. We are a democracy. We are a democratic society. We can't allow people to take the law into their own hands. There is no country that doesn't have foreign nationals.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has condemned the attacks as xenophobic and unacceptable. More than 100 people have been arrested for public violence, arson and looting. But in some areas, the police seem overwhelmed, making it easy for some people to stay in the street. Harry Matasa, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
And successes in their adopted home.
We wanted to begin to bring all the circumstances together and also share it with the world and share it with the people in South Africa. Where our people are coming from and why are they here.
The 3 founders are the only staff of Congo Square. They hire a printer and produce up to 3,000 copies of the 20-page publication every month, depending on how much money they have. The paper is free. Its founders invest in their own money earned from working odd jobs. They also distribute the paper themselves and promote it among South Africans.
Our philosophy is we know that our community is plenty of negativity. So we want to promote the positivity. And to promote that positivity is to go out there, to find the positive side of in our community and to put it somewhere.
The conflict in DRC may have officially ended in 2003, but some parts of the country still experience violence. Many of those who flee are traumatized by the long journey into exile and struggle to survive.
We've been suffering a lot.